Homes are taking longer to sell. There's less inventory on the market. We're here in Los Angeles. I'm Corrie Sommers, your local Los Angeles realtor. What is happening in our real estate market today? Well, I've got a lot of information for you about what's happening and what's not happening. And I guess the biggest question on most people's mind is, are we headed into some kind of real estate recession bubble like 2008? I'll be right back with all information to help you understand where we are at today and to answer those questions. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, take a moment to click the subscribe button and bell for updates, and I'll be right back. Hi everybody, I'm Corrie Sommers, your local Los Angeles realtor. Today we're going to get into our monthly market update. Now, there's been a lot of things happening, and I first want to address some of those things and answer some questions that have come up that have people concerned. So first of all, here in Los Angeles, the minute May hit, everything came to a screeching halt. This summer was the slowest selling summer on record since real estate stats have been recorded, and it caused a lot of people to panic. Of course, as real estate agents, we're usually the blame for everything going wrong in the market, even though we are giving all the advice and giving recommendations. You know, sometimes people want what they want and they sell their home and set the price at their aspirational price, and that's not what the market is doing. Needless to say, in the summer, it was dead. Open houses were dead. Calls were dead, people coming to see property, making calls. It just was not happening. Things have ticked up now that we've gotten past that and kind of gone through the historic summer slowdown towards the end of August, and things have picked up a little bit in September. In fact, most open houses that I sit now have a lot of people coming, particularly if it's areas in the LA basin, like say Rancho Park, Culver City, Santa Monica. That said, one of the biggest questions people ask is, are we headed towards a 2008 type of recessionary bubble? And the reality is, we're not. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but one of the biggest things to understand is right now today, there's $47 trillion of home equity free and clear. More people in America at this time have their homes completely paid off with no mortgages. But who really has that is the question. Well, it's the silent generation, and it's baby boomers. So with $47 trillion in equity, it's very different than what happened in 2008. You see, back in 2008, most homeowners were upside down. They owed more on the mortgage than the home was actually worth. And that was part of the contributing factor to the implosion, as well as banks being aggressive and greedy in lending practices. And if you had a pulse and a piece of paper that stated, I make XYZ, they threw money at you. All of that has changed. Obviously, those of us that have owned a home, we lived through some of the horrors and some of the building back. So we're not in the same space when it comes to lending practices. We are not in the same space when it comes to the prices of homes. What we have actually been seeing now is homes starting to increase in equity at a slower pace, which is something that I've been talking with my clients about for the last year. And we are definitely seeing a more balanced market. So anytime you transition from a seller's market to a buyer's market, or a buyer's market to a seller's market, there's a transitionary period. We have been coming out of the longest selling market throughout history when it comes to real estate. And we have entered a very slow transitional market, but we are now, I believe, here. We have seen price reductions go up over the last 6 months from 17%, 19%, 22%, 20%, up to 23%, and now kind of sliding back down a little bit, as I'll share with the stats coming up. And we might have hit that rock bottom. That's the hope. Nobody has a crystal ball, but from what it's looking like right now, we are definitely into more balanced terrain. But what does that mean for you if you are selling a home or buying a home? Well, first, let me go through all the stats. So each month that I do the monthly market report, I'm reviewing the previous month. So during the month of September, there was 63,788 homes on the market for sale. And with that, like the last 2 months prior, there are less homes on the market than the month prior. This is really the first time we're seeing that increasing trend. So in August, there were 65,903 homes for sale on the market. In Toluca Lake, there were 34 homes, followed by Studio City with 166 homes available for sale. Sherman Oaks, 232. Encino was 240. Going over to the other side of the hill, Santa Monica was 128, Brentwood 204, and Beverly Hills 137. Now, that's the homes for sale on the market. How long did it take for homes to actually enter an escrow, a signed purchase agreement? So in Toluca Lake, surprisingly, it was a shorter time frame in September, and that was only 26 days, followed by Studio City with 39 days, Sherman Oaks at 44 days, Encino at 52 days, Santa Monica at 29 days, always a hot spot there, Brentwood at 55 days, and Beverly Hills at 34 days. Let's talk demand. So in Toluca Lake, during the month of September, there were 5 homes under contract. In Studio City, it was 32 homes, followed by Sherman Oaks with 57 homes, Encino, 38 homes, Santa Monica, 21 homes, Brentwood, 24 homes, and Beverly Hills, 16 homes. Now, that's not a lot of homes selling still. It's not greatly increased in numbers of sales, but let's talk about the numbers year over year. So when it comes to this time last year in Los Angeles in 2024, there was 58,026 homes available for sale, followed by this year, which was 63,788. That's actually up 9% from last year, even though the last couple months have been a declining amount of homes for sale. In Toluca Lake last year, it was 30 homes, this year 34, so that was actually up 13%. In Studio City, 157 in the year 2024, and this year 166, that's up 6%. In Sherman Oaks last year, in September of 2024, there was 210 homes for sale, followed by this year with 232 homes for sale. That's actually up 11%. And in Encino in September of 2024, there was 222 homes for sale. This year there was 240. That's up 8%. That's up 8%. Sorry. In Santa Monica last year, it was 113 homes for sale, followed by this year at 128, which is up 13%. Brentwood last year was 103, followed by this year at 201, which is actually a really big increase. That's 95%. It's pretty interesting. You know, here we are 9 months after the fires. Is that impacting sales of homes in Brentwood? Is the cost of fire insurance and the difficulty in getting fire insurance in the state of California, or the challenges, I should say, that it presents? I've done a couple videos about this topic, but maybe that's causing more people to sell. In Beverly Hills last year, there was 129 homes for sale, followed by this year at 137, which is actually up 6%. So slight upticks from last year, but yet still we're moving in a downward direction. Let's talk price reductions. Okay, in Toluca Lake, there were 7 price reductions in the month of September, and that's 20% of the inventory. In Studio City, there was 31 price reductions, which is 19% of the inventory, followed by Sherman Oaks with 60 price reductions for 26% of the inventory. Sherman Oaks really saw a lot of price reductions: May, June, July, August, September. Really one of the pockets with more price reductions in a lot of Los Angeles. And Encino, there was 29 price reductions, 12% of Encino's inventory. Santa Monica was 15 price reductions, 12% of Santa Monica's inventory. Sorry guys, I'm moving a little too fast. And Brentwood, there was 24 price reductions, which was only 12% of inventory. In Beverly Hills, 11 price reductions, 8% of inventory. Now, let's talk Los Angeles overall. So in September, there were 10,419 price reductions out of the 63,788 homes for sale. That's 16% price reductions, which is, again, as I mentioned earlier, now it's moving in a downward trend, whereas before it was moving in an upward trend. So what does this mean for you? If you are in the position to purchase right now, not only have interest rates been coming down, I have several lenders that are telling me they have 30-year products in the high 5s right now, but there's more opportunity to negotiate because sellers, for the most part, are still listing their homes at their aspirational price, not what the market is demanding for those properties. And it's you as the buyer that really dictates that. It's what you're willing to pay for a home. Now, if you're considering selling your home and you're saying, what am I doing? Is this the right time? Well, it's still a good time to sell. I would actually say it's better to get out in front and on the market now than to wait for things to soften even more and fully transition into a buyer's market. Because when we are in a buyer's market, there will be more homes for sale than there are buyers. A lot more things you're going to negotiate and have to give in on to close a deal with a buyer. And more than likely, that aspirational price will keep going and going and going till you're just not going to see it. And the reality is, today is not like it was a couple years ago. We don't have people competing in droves for homes. There's a few pockets that are still getting multiple offers and are still driving up the price a little bit, but the reality is, the thing I always tell my clients, you've got to come to market ready to go, updating things that need to be updating, doing some touch-ups, fresh paint, staging if you are not living in the home. They're so critical. It's critical for photos, but it is so important for people to walk your home and picture themselves living there. Most people cannot see in an empty space. It's just something with the eye and the inability to really perceive the depth and sensory, the whole connection, and see a space and envision really what it looks like with furniture in. If you are thinking, I need a little bit of help, I need a little bit of guidance, I'm not sure what I should be doing right now, buying or selling, of course you can always get on my calendar. We can have a brief conversation just to kind of get started and then schedule a time to really sit down and talk in depth. Thank you guys so much for watching. I have more coming up for you, and of course next month we'll be going over these numbers again, and it'll be interesting to see where we land. I'm Corrie Sommers, your local Los Angeles realtor. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, don't forget to do that before you go. Click the subscribe button and the bell for updates.